Hey everybody, it's Emmy. I apologize for using my webcam tonight. My camera's not currently working right and it's really pissing me off. But I won't get into that because I just got done ranting to that to someone for like the past hour about how it was being completely retarded. Um, I also am starting a new channel because I've had some issues on my old one that I'm not going to get into. It was just easier to start fresh. But tonight I wanted to veer away from what I normally or what lately I have been doing and kind of talk about something that a lot of people ask me about, and that is my teen pregnancy story. And you know, I really stepped up from where I was. I started at rock bottom, and now I'm like halfway there. I'm not quite at the top yet. I got a long way to go, but I really came a long way. So people always are like asking me like, how did you do it? Like, what is your story? And I haven't really got a chance to actually sit down and tell someone my whole story. So I just thought it'd be cool if I could just like recap that whole thing for you and answer people's questions in the process of doing that, and just tell my story. Um, I got pregnant when I was 16 in December of 2010. And I remember that because, well, it's the only time it could have happened. Let's just put it that way. Um, I found out towards the end of January, and I didn't think I was pregnant. Like, I knew my period was late, obviously. um, but like I didn't think about it because I had been so stressed, and when I have anxiety. So when I got stressed out, or I would fight with Rye, which is my baby daddy, um I just want to get my period, and I want to eat, and I just want to take care of myself. And I didn't even think about it, and he's like, I mean, this just doesn't feel right this time. Like, can you just take a test? And I had a spare one laying around because we had previously had a scare before I found out it was my anxiety that was stopping my period from coming. So I took the test, and I was just, to humor him, I expected it to come out negative. And two blue lines appeared, and I'm like, holy fuck, what are we going to do now? And we sat down for a good week and just, talked it out with each other. It was a really mature, grown up discussion for two kids to have. And we decided that we were going to keep the baby. And at this point, I wasn't having any symptoms. My boobs were heavy, but like you also get that when you're getting your period too. So like I didn't have any like definitive pregnancy symptoms before I found out I was pregnant. Every symptom I had, like the headaches and stuff, it's all associated with your period, like it's really hard to tell. Like sometimes you have a headache and it's just a headache, and some people have headaches and it's fucking brain tumors. You just never know. But I didn't have any symptoms, and I was about 6 to 8 weeks along. I got my ultrasound at 12 weeks. I want to say 11 or 12 weeks. It wasn't exact. It was like, I don't remember. I have the ultrasound sitting around. They're actually packed up right now in a box. But I'll dig them out sometime and share them with you guys because they're amazing. But so after I had my ultrasound, it's like as soon as I got like confirmed, like holy shit, this is fucking real now. Mind you, my mom had was in denial and had bought me like 6 other packets of pregnancy tests. She made me take them all too. And I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. And she's like, you know what, just take another one. Maybe it'll come out like negative. But they were all positive except one. One woman had a faint line, and she held on to that one pregnancy stick that had the faint line, and she brought it to the doctors with us. But my daughter is now sleeping in the other room as I speak, so obviously it's very positive. But after I got my ultrasound is when all my symptoms hit. I was so sick. I had morning sickness, until month 6. I had chronic sinus infections. I had a stuffy nose until I was about 6 months pregnant. Like, I was fucking as sick as you could get. And it was just really bad because I couldn't take anything for it, and I was becoming immune to antibiotics. Like, aside from that, I was okay. Like, I felt really happy. Like, all the hormones, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, not that I was going to be a teen parent, but just other than the fact that I was sick, I felt good. I just felt good. So, I ended up ending things with my baby daddy because I found out he was cheating on me. And I found this out because the girl had actually messaged me, and Ryan must have told her that I was pregnant, and she actually had the nerve to say to me, "You're ruining Ryan's life, you need to have an abortion, like, you can't do this to him, blah, 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 like, he doesn't want this." Just a lot of, like, pretty cruel things to say. And, sorry, I keep looking at that, like, light right there in the window. I'm pointing, and I can't show you. Right where my finger just went, there's a light, and I just keep catching my eye. I'm so ADD. But, so I found out he was cheating on me with her, and, you know, Ryan and I were thick as thieves. We were best friends, but our relationship, it was just such crap. Like, we were just two people who were not meant to be together, and it was just bad. So, you know, I finally called him out on that, and he's like, yeah, I don't want the baby. And then a couple nights later, he called me up, yeah, I do want the baby, like, whatever. And it just, like, went back and forth for so long that finally, like, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm keeping her. Or it. Because at the time, I didn't know it was a she. But, so I did. And he left because he had some sort of breakdown. And I actually ended up having to go to a mental institution for a while. And he got really messed up there. They mixed drugs they shouldn't have, and he's never been the same since. And it breaks my heart because I know he is somebody's kid, but it also breaks my heart because I also have a kid who is going to grow up without a father in her life, and it just sucks, you know. But I think everything kind of happens for a reason. And, you know, we're doing really good for ourselves, even though he's not here. But back to my story. After he left, we had one falling out. He called me because I had told him that until he got his shit together, that he couldn't be a part of Reagan's life because I wanted to make sure he was gonna be safe. Mind you, the year before, he had just totaled his car speeding, and just, I don't know what the fuck he did. He just went off the road and cracked his skull open. It's a fucking miracle he's even alive because, you know, he had to walk a mile and his head was open, like skull cracked, like he was badly injured. And where he lived, it was in the middle of nowhere, so his car, he couldn't drive, it was flipped. Like, it just, oh my god, like, you know what I mean? He just didn't have his shit together. Anyways, so we got in a fight, and he accidentally left his phone on. And, you know, I can hear everything he's saying, and he's saying, oh, I'm going to go down there and beat the door open and show her a lesson, blah, 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 blah. He ends up coming down. I call his dad. His dad's like, I mean, call the cops if you don't feel safe. It's okay. I call the cops. The cops come down. They talk to us, and we work it out, and Ryan and I are sitting in his car after they leave, and we're talking about how we can make this work together. And he says something, and I disagree with it, and I don't remember exactly what that was, but I remember him being like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, get the fuck out of my car before I stab you and stab your stomach. And that is when I had it. And I'm like, you know what? Done. Got a job. Was working close to 40 hours a week. I was doing school. No, I wasn't actually in school, though. I actually did not a program, but they kind of adjusted the thing for me. So I had 2 teachers who came to my house who dropped off my homework. We went over it together, and it was like a really unique situation that they did for me. But I ended up graduating. Go me. And so yeah, it's really awesome. But anyways, so I decided that he wasn't gonna be around anymore. Shortly after, it was probably around this time, it had to be. I ended up meeting someone else because I remember I remember wishing him a happy birthday, and his birthday is May 11th. So it had to be, we met sometime in April, maybe middle of April, because we had been talking for a few weeks. But regardless, he was really awesome. He was one of my closest people to me when I was pregnant. I had fallen away from a lot of my friends because we were just on separate pages with everything, and he was there to talk to, and he let me cry like a baby when my hormones started pumping, and he was just a really good friend throughout the rest of my pregnancy. And somewhere along the way, I developed feelings for him, and well, shit happens. That's a totally different story that we're not gonna get into though. But the rest of my pregnancy went really smoothly. My ankles were getting swollen though a lot because I was standing for like 8 hours a day. I was fucking exhausted all the time. But I was doing pretty good, I wasn't too bad. I took maternity leave 6 days before my due date, and because they were worried about me being preeclamptic, so I had to leave work a little early. I was going to work right up to my due date, but given the circumstances, they're like, you're pushing yourself too hard, just take the extra week to relax. So I did, and my daughter ended up being 10 days late anyways, so I was miserable. And the guy I was talking to, he was really awesome. He totally put up with me, and I don't know how, because I used to read back on my text messages with him, and I was a fucking bitch. But he was so awesome to me. Like, I totally owe him a huge thank you for that. Because I probably wouldn't have put up with myself. I'd have been like, bitch, calm your pregnant ass down. But anyways, I was 10 days late. I was walking 1.5 to 2 miles a day with my mom. She literally had to pull me home sometime. By the time I was 9 days overdue, I didn't even want to walk. I would get down the road, sit on the stump, and I made her go get the car and drive me home because I was too pregnant to be doing that crap. The day I went to my doctor, she checked my cervix, and I was already 5 centimeters dilated. I didn't even know. Like, I had no idea. Like, I was having contractions, and they were just as painful as my period cramps, so I never thought anything of it. I'm a really tough person when it comes to pain. Like, I can take pain. And, my mom knew I was having contractions because she's like, oh my god, Emmy, you're having contractions. You don't feel that? And I'm like, told you my period cramps were that bad. But, anyways, I just assumed it was Braxton Hicks because I had had a few false alarms, and it was a bummer. But October 6th I went in, and October 5th. No, it was October 6th. I had gone in, sent me to the hospital. I walked up and down in a stupid like little flannel robe and made your butt hang out. And I got to 6 centimeters dilated, and then my real contractions hit. Like, full on painful, double over, like, worst pain you ever felt in your life contractions. And I sat down. I'm like, go get the anesthesiologist. I need him now. Like, I need that epidural now. Because he lives 2.5 hours away. So he was almost done with his shift. So if he had left, I would have had to wait 2.5 hours for him to come back. And so by then I probably would have had to start pushing. No, I wouldn't have. No, that's not true. Because I was in labor for 11.5 hours total. I pushed for 4.5. So I kind of just chilled for 8 hours, feeling nothing, watching Housewives of New Jersey. Fun stuff. But my daughter was born, and she was 7 pounds, 8.5 ounces. She was 20.5 inches long, I believe. And it was the most amazing thing like you can ever imagine. It really is. And everything I had been through when I was pregnant with, my baby daddy and this other guy I was seeing, I was totally depressed because, the closer I got to my due date, this other guy I really had feelings for kind of started drifting away from me because he really wasn't ready for the whole baby scene. And I mean, that's understandable. I probably would have done the same thing if it was me. But in that moment, nothing mattered. I can't explain it. It's nothing that can be explained. It's like you gotta feel it for yourself, Like you can try to explain a tattoo or what a piercing feels like or what it feels like to have a hemorrhoid or your nipples pierced. Like you can try to explain a feeling to someone, but it's never the same as when you experience for yourself. And it was truly such a magical experience for me. And it made everything worthwhile. Those swollen ankles, my bad back, I have some nasty ass stretch marks, all worth it though. Like when I held her, it's like I didn't even care because she was finally like in my arms, like I had waited for so long. But I won't rant on about that beautiful moment because I tend to rant about that a little bit. So some other things that happened during my pregnancy, I don't know. I really had like a pretty smooth pregnancy, except for being incredibly sick for like the first 6 months or so. I mean, I didn't find out until I was almost 12 weeks, so there was like a good 3 months of just being like straight sick. And you really gotta take it easy. You gotta eat right. You gotta take your prenatal vitamins, drink a lot of water. Like really just keep yourself healthy for you and your baby, because that's like the most important thing. And I can't remember what it's called right now. Skin to skin, or the kangaroo hold, or something like that. But it's after the baby's born. If you want to hold it right away, like your naked body against theirs, and that's very important to do as well. And I believe some people think it's gross, but I think if you just push a baby out of your vagina, that you can probably hold a naked baby to your skin, because don't get much closer than that. But so that's very important too. In terms of maintaining a relationship during a pregnancy, it's very different when you're pregnant to when you have a baby. Because when you're pregnant, it's still like just you guys, except, there's a baby inside of you. And nothing really changes. But after you have a baby, it's like, all right, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're sad because you have baby blues, they're irritated, like everyone's just not happy. So communication, it's incredibly important. And after I had my daughter Reagan, the guy I was seeing really didn't want to be in a relationship. I won't get too into that, but we did end up dating for a little while and whatnot, and like I said, totally different story, so I'm not gonna even get into it. But in terms of maintaining a healthy relationship after you have a baby, communication, or any relationship in general, is communication. Like, you need to talk to each other, because if you can't, if one person's getting irritated and one person feels like they can't say anything, it's never gonna work. You're just wasting each other's time. You gotta like be able to sit down and be like, what's up, babe? And be able to listen to them and what they have to say, even if you don't want to hear it. Because sometimes it's lack of communication that's a problem. Like, sometimes you need to just be able to be like, this is how I feel. And just because they don't want to hear it, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't take it into consideration of what they're saying. Because sometimes you're like, oh, you're retarded, you're an idiot. And then after sitting on it for a few days, you're like, you're right. I should do this, or I should do that, or, whatever it is. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. But, I mean, obviously, it's, like, when you're making a relationship work after you have a baby, the biggest thing is to, you know, just do everything you do, but work twice as hard. I think that's incredibly important too. But for single parents, like especially teenage parents like I am, you have to prepare for the fact that you probably are going to get shut down a lot. I got lucky with the guy I met. Um, he really wasn't into my daughter at first. He just hadn't been around kids. He didn't know her. And, she loves him. Straight up has always adored this guy. Like, she just fucking loves him. And he really cares about her too, so I guess that's nice. But like I said, we're not going to get into that. So, I mean, everyone's situation is different, but when you're a teen parent, it's definitely going to be harder. Because, you're young yourself and you haven't really had a chance to do everything you want to do and fulfill everything you want to fulfill. And, basically you're signing that off when you become a parent, and you don't have a choice. Because I mean, you see people like hand their kids over to their parents all the time, and it's like, you made that baby, you made that decision, you take care of it. Because it sucks sometimes because you don't realize what to expect. But you gotta live with the choices you make. And I'm in cosmetology school right now. I love it. I feel good about life. I'm currently single. Just doing me and my daughter right now. What happens in the future, and I know eventually things are gonna play out for the best, and we're probably gonna meet someone really awesome, and settle into a bunch of good shit, hopefully. Hoping. But at the same time, like, my dream was to go into forensic science and work with criminals, but when you have a family, that's just not practical. And being a single parent and having no help, I don't get to go out a lot and do what I want to do. I don't get to go to college and have that experience, and it just is what it is. Like, I mean, I wouldn't change my situation for the world. If I had to go through everything I went through and cry every tear that I cried, which, trust me, was a lot, because I was a hot mess when I was pregnant, I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. If I had to go through labor again right now, I totally would do it. Of course, I'm saying this, and you kind of forget the pain, but you know what I mean. So, I mean, that's just kind of my experience of my pregnancy, and how my life went. Obviously, everyone's situation is unique, but you just really have to keep your head up and just do the best you can. And it's okay to fall down sometimes, because I can tell you, I did all the time. Multiple times. And you make mistakes as a parent. Especially make mistakes as a young parent, because you don't really know what you're doing. But, you survive the hard times. You get through it, and I know I do. Like, every time I'm ready to just toss in the towel, I look at my daughter and she keeps me going. Because you're never gonna meet another person, or another guy for that matter, who is gonna take precedence cannot talk tonight for anything over your child, you know what I mean? Because they're part of you, and that's just something that is amazing. But I'm in no way advocating to be a teen parent. I totally believe that you should wait until you're older. What happens. If you have a baby, then you have a baby. Step up, be the best parent you can be. Enjoy all the little moments, because it goes by fast. It's a cliche, but it's totally true. I look at pictures all the time of my daughter when I was pregnant with her. When she was a newborn, when I first brought her home from the hospital, and felt like I couldn't do this, and think back to when I couldn't change her diaper, and I'm like, where did all this time go? Like, now I change her diaper, I'm like whipping her around like a bag of potatoes, you know what I mean? And but when she first came home from the hospital, I was afraid to like pick up her little legs because I was afraid they're gonna snap off her body. But you know what I mean? So I'll probably do a follow-up video to this. Just what it's like in the day of being a teen mom, because I mean I can preach to everybody till I'm blue in the face, but when you take a look, you're like, I think I'm gonna sleep in for a little bit. So I'll probably do one of those videos at some point when I get my camera working again. I really hate recording on my webcam because I can't stand the quality. But it's already 10 o'clock and I have school in the morning. So I hope you guys enjoyed my story and I hope you guys have a good night. Bye.